Pre-recorded from your favorite absolute monarchy, it's Malignant Bear, featuring me, JD Grossputs. Hello everyone, and welcome to this quick look video for the game Thronefall. This is something interesting. It is a minimalist RTS. I don't think that I've ever seen one of these before, or at least not very many of them. This game is currently in early access. It was $5 up until pretty recently. They raised the price because they're getting ready for some updates to it to add more content. It's now a whopping $10. We are in version 1.42 of this, but I wanted to put out a video of this because I think this is interesting and deserves some more attention. It's gotten some good reviews for good reason, and I think it's worth checking out if you're into RTSs and kind of want to see that boiled down to the basics, which is something that I always find kind of interesting, is distilling genres into kind of their most base elements to see what works and what doesn't. So, without any further ado, let's jump in. So a lot of times when we do quick looks on this channel, we pick up later in a run of something so we can demonstrate kind of more late game. I don't want to do that with this because I want to show more of the ramp up. So, we're going to go ahead, jump in, hit play. Whenever you get in, you're greeted with the overworld here. And you can see we're a little king, I guess, yeah, on a horse. There's only a couple levels. One is the just obvious tutorial level. And then you have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 others. And then an infinite one as well. So, I've beaten every level at least once, with a bit of a caveat. So we'll, each level has different tile sets and different enemies and things that spawn, and kind of different conditions you need to look out for. So we're going to pick this one, the next to last level, just to demonstrate it. Ooh, for wind. So I have a high score on this. Number 1 of my friends. I don't think any of my friends have played this yet. You can see a leaderboard though. Whenever you pick a level, you get to pick your weapon. You start off with just bow and dagger, and you eventually unlock some other ones. And this is the weapon that your king has. You control your king as a unit at all times. Every weapon has a passive, so obviously bow and dagger, you shoot. And then the active is you stab something close to you. Light spear. Passive is you attack. Active is you heal and attack faster. Heavy sword, slow and heavy. Active, big strike. Lightning staff is terrible and you shouldn't use it. I'm not sure what the final weapon is. You get perks. These are passives that influence either you or your buildings and units, which we'll see. I'm going to go with arcane towers, so my towers are just stronger. Castle fortifications, so my town center, my castle center is better. And I'm going to pick this one, fortified houses. Right away I can say that there is, though, a little bit of a problem with this game, and that's with saying that I like it and recommend it. You can see here this one, houses have plus 250% more health and shoot at enemies dealing 8 damage. I don't know how much 8 damage is because I don't know how much health enemies have. Is a big problem that this game has. It throws numbers at you, but you don't actually have detailed statistics, which is kind of odd. Also, some of these perks are just objectively bad and you would probably never use them. Then you have mutators. This is to make the run, in this case, a little easier. That's how I beat every level, was just using this one, make it easier so we can see everything. Or these ones make things harder. And you can see there's quests for every stage to use specific mutators, perks, and weapons. So we're going to specifically make this easy. Whenever you jump in, you can see these little red things all around the map. This is where the enemies are going to spawn in, and it tells us what type of enemies they are. We have our gold there in the bottom right. Obviously we can move around. Can't go anywhere though. Very minimalist in terms of art style. So before we can start the night off, we need to build our town center. We have stats there, so, you know, it has some health. Similar to Kingdoms, or Kingdoms 2 Crowns, or whichever one of the spin-offs you prefer. You can see you have to throw down your little town center by throwing gold at it. It's very reminiscent of that. And then you might notice that unlocked some other building things. I can upgrade this if I want to. Put down some towers. Or build houses. Houses generate income. This level is interesting, and I picked it because you might notice there's a little island over there. I have to build a bridge to get to it, and then once I do, I can go over there, and I get some other interesting upgrades here as well. If I want, I can even build another bridge to get to another little island. I'm going to build the blacksmith, though, so I can start upgrading stuff. So increase my melee attack, my ranged attack. We're going to go with ranged, because we're using a bow. You can see we're night 1 of 12. This is what's coming tonight. We can see information about them here and about our loadout if we want to. So it's just peasants. Not a big deal. So we have to wait 3 nights for this to upgrade. So in the meantime, build a couple houses so we can get some extra income going. And we'll do the smart thing. We'll build a tower here too. All of this is done with just one button. Putting gold in all of those things was just spacebar. Starting night is spacebar. Once you get into the night and you want to use your active skill, it is spacebar. So this game can be very easily played on controller or keyboard and mouse. So we're on keyboard and mouse right now, obviously. You can see all the enemies are coming in. They drop gold. There's no reason for me to pick it up. It automatically does it for us at the end of the night. There is no interest or anything, but obviously, you know, you want to build more revenue-generating buildings. If your buildings die, they're automatically rebuilt unless you're using specific modifiers to change that, but it means that you don't get anything that they would have generated. So if they had destroyed this house, for example, I wouldn't have gotten the gold from it. You get points as you go. You can see that progressed a little bit there. Alright, let's see what I want to do here. You can control units, so we can build a hero's quarter here, get a hero to help us out. You can build a mill. Each of these buildings has different upgrade paths and things that it can do as well, which is kind of neat. Let's see here. Do I want to... Probably just want to be smart here. Let's see. Toss this here, upgrade this. As you level up your town center, you can choose between different upgrades. You have to level up overall just by playing, by getting points to unlock more of these, so you only get this one from the start, for example. But this is... We get stronger. We get a little stronger and our houses upgrade automatically. This one's not very good. Upgrading houses is cheap. Enemies that deal damage to you take part of that damage themselves. Way more attack damage. We'll do this one. We want attack and HP. Alright. 1 gold left over, that's fine. See, all the enemies are going to come from up here. Enemies will either attack you or any of your units or structures. You can use this to your advantage. You can kind of kite things. Might notice these guys are slowing us down. I'm going to purposely die. Whenever you die, you turn into a little ghost, and you can still move. You revive automatically after a little bit, or at the end of the night, whichever comes first. No real penalty for dying, other than you might lose some points there. So. Alright. See, that's still going. Let's build our first units. So we can get archers, crossbowmen, hunters, or fire archers. Again, without numbers to know how these really work, it's hard to tell. We can keep upgrading them so we get more and they're a little better. We finally get a second key to use, though. Hitting control lets me get this little area around me. Lets me tell where I want these units to go. So we're going to toss them right there. So now they'll automatically go there. If they happen to die, they'll respawn and go there automatically unless this gets destroyed. And within this area, if they, see some other units coming up, they'll do their best to go and attack them. Help us out a little bit. Let's get another house going here. We have some little flying units. Big and slow. not a real threat. So you can see these guys are coming out to help fight, but they will automatically go back to that as their rally point, basically. Archers are pretty good for that. How much money do we have? Yeah, that upgraded. So if we give it 9 more gold, we can get another upgrade. Any level that has a barracks, you want to do this pretty much the entire time. And keep them going and do that as much as possible, basically. Get another bridge. So if we want to, we can build another bridge here, but it means that units will start to path up around there. They're going to avoid our wall. They want to take the path of least resistance every time. We can build other stuff here, including a harbor. So harbor and mills, kind of similar in that they generate something that generates income for you. So obviously boats here, or with the mill, you get little fields of grain. Every night, if they are not destroyed, you'll get more resources from them. So, I'm gonna build a tower over here. And let's see, put another house here. And we'll go with a tower over here as well. Right, next night. There's a decent amount of enemy variety in this, and you need to kind of think about what you have to deal with. For example, in some stages, catapults will spawn. They can outrange you very easily and deal a ton of damage to buildings. You probably want to go up to them, focus them down before they can destroy your stuff. See, I destroyed that house. There's an option in the menu for winter mode. Makes it so every level has a little bit of snow on it, basically. Just change its tile set slightly. Alright, let's see. You can see now things are spawning over there, so I've done this level before, I recognize that. That's why I started building these towers. There's not a whole lot of levels in the game, but because of that, you kind of learn what you need to do and think about. So, because of sort of the minimalist nature of this, you're just getting better over time, which is good, but it's also kind of bad, I think. My biggest complaint with this game is that the base difficulty, without that modifier that I have on right now to make it easier, is a little high. And again, it's because of the nature of it. It's kind of like a roguelike. You're supposed to just get better at it, get more familiar over time with what you have to do, what works and what doesn't, all that stuff. But I still think sort of the base level could maybe be toned down a bit, and I don't think it would lose anything. Alright. So all of our archers over there, they'll deal with those flying guys coming in. We'll attack these horses. So you might have noticed that house had a little X over it because it died last time, or it was destroyed rather. So we didn't get income from it, so it'll tell you that, basically. Things flying in from over there. I think we got them all. Again, enemies always try to take the path of least resistance to your base. Automatically get all of our gold. Gather up everybody that we can. And we're still going to do this. We're going to just... You guys hang out there, and they should be smart enough to, hopefully, get back to other places. Alright, we'll upgrade this all the way. Everything can be upgraded 3 times, except houses. They only seem to have 1. But most other things, pretty much everything else is 3. We'll upgrade ourselves again. Get our tower upgraded a little bit, just one of these. And you can see there, goes from 250 HP to potentially a lot of options because you have 4 different upgrade options for it. Right. Another knight. These little automaton things. Very tanky. Do a lot of melee damage. Most things when they upgrade have options for you, but as you can see, some stuff like houses don't, or you know, with our barracks, it's just giving us more of those units. We don't get to choose a different type later on or anything like that. Not looking so good. Should have focused a little more on upgrading some of these towers in our walls. But we still got enough to upgrade this all the way, so you can choose between Fortress Tower. So it could shoot 2 things at once, gets a little stronger. Has a giant ballista. It'll focus on siege engines and has a massive range. Hot oil. Makes sense. And a support tower. You can kind of play this more like a tower defense game, or more like an RTS. So you have options, especially as you get a little further on in terms of the upgrades and perks and stuff, to do more with the units. That said, my other complaint with the game is that controlling and doing stuff with the units is a little awkward because it's just this. You just basically tell them where to go. And unless you pick an option in the settings to save that, every single night they'll default to just respawning back there. Which can be good if you're really min-maxing like crazy. You want to make sure they're going to go back to the same spot. And then you can reset because it's like, oh, I know this level, it's just these things spawning down here. But I think it honestly might be easier for you to just pick a spot, put them there, and then go from there. Survive. Okay, good. You really have to balance between income and defense in this. Right here we have another level where there's stuff coming from over here. Do maybe a not so smart thing and just have a bunch of level 1 towers there. And so what else do we have? Melee types. Yeah, we'll get some melee guys going. So you can see we get knights, armored, pretty versatile. Spearmen, do extra damage to fast stuff. Flails, AoE attack, these are not very good. And then berserkers, they're real strong. So there's some balance issues. Just put them there. Berserkers will automatically go after things that do, or that have higher health. They do a ton of damage, but obviously don't have a lot of health, as berserkers are known for. So. See, we're pretty tanky, that's why I picked those upgrades. Or you could have gone with the ones that, again, increased your units or your buildings. So you have some options in terms of how you want to play this. Wow, that went poorly over there. My goodness. Alright, so you can see everything's coming from over here. No reason to spend too many upgrades on stuff that's not facing these. Let's do... Already upgraded that. Just to demonstrate, we're going to build the mill. So again, we'd have to spend money to then get fields, or same thing with the harbor, we'd have to spend money for boats. Or we can make it so it just explodes when it dies, which it'll die a lot. It has anti-air attacks, not super useful, and then intercepts enemy arrows. Again, not super useful. We can still put down fields, though. So, a lot of risk-reward kind of gameplay in terms of doing that. Get our hero. Don't have too many of these yet. Get a golem there. And let's see. That should be fine. Again, decent amount of enemy variety in this, which is what you want to see in RTS. Especially for how, you know, consider it's minimalist, but I think it still does a good enough job with that. There's certain enemy types that you only see on some of the maps. In the Infinite one, every couple of nights it cycles you through to one of the other maps then, which I think is kind of neat. And again, with full modifiers and everything, so you can go high score hunting to your heart's content there. Hide ourselves behind the wall here. So again, they can't get through even though the door's open. Yeah. Close to the end. How many nights is this now? 10 out of 12. Alright, so we're going to do a full run of this, so maybe this won't be as quick of a quick look as you might be expecting, but it's okay. Strong guy there. Upgrade our wall. And then let's actually upgrade these as well. We're too late in the game now to make it worthwhile to upgrade that again and try to research something else. So it's just going to sit here. You can't destroy buildings once they're placed. So live with your poor decisions, basically. Some enemies will specifically target you, like prefer you over buildings. For the most part, though, stuff prefers your town center. It'll just happen to attack you or other things on the way to it. But again, you can use enemy pathing and all that to your advantage. I obviously can't use my ability, since these things are flying. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Right, 11 of 12. So we can see here we got some battering rams, some ogres. That's it. That's the only thing that's coming to. Oh, we should probably level stuff up. Get more fortress towers here. They're sort of the good all-rounder. I will give it credit, in most cases, the first option that you have just unlocked by default for buildings and upgrades and all that is solid. Whereas the other ones are kind of more, okay, I'm looking at some specific stuff here, like how's this going to benefit my niche build that I'm going for. So it's good in that regard, for sure. Obviously, battering rams pretty tanky. Do a whole boatload of melee damage to buildings. So our golem died pretty quickly there. It's okay, because we have a whole lot of arrows coming up here. Enemy projectiles sort of track on you, but not super well. So you can use that to your advantage and cheese a little bit. Oh boy, oh boy. Spearmen classically very good against cavalry. Alright, into the very end here. You can see the final level. There's a whole lot of stuff about to happen. Let's upgrade. Let's see, that's already upgraded. There's nothing coming from that side. So, fellas can go over there. Right. We will upgrade that tower. see, we don't have a whole lot of money left. I want to do this. Let's try that. That. I only have 2 left. Want someplace where I could build like a house is just a distraction. It's up here. It's pretty good. Alright, here we go. Every level, though, is just 12 nights like this. So as you can see, runs take about this much time. 20-30 minutes for a complete run. Which is nice. I think it's, again, minimalist. It's quick. Yeah, my archers, they move down here. So, controlling units, again, you don't have a whole lot of options for that. I can move them around again, but as I'm doing that, they're not attacking or anything. So in terms of microing your units, maybe not the best. I do like that the soundtrack gets a little bit more epic with each night. You can tell it's, getting a little louder. There's more elements popping into it, which I think is a nice touch. We won! Never any doubt. See our score. Some bonus for how much gold we had. And because we got score, your score contributes to your overall XP. So we're level 45 now. We've unlocked a new perk. Or a new mutator, rather, and a new perk. 60 extra gold in the morning before the last night. Wow. So we've got a new record. You can automatically try again. Get a bonus for not doing any restarts, but again, we lost a lot for using the mutator that made this possible. Again, pretty neat. That's it. That's a complete run of one of the levels here. Obviously easier than it would have been otherwise. But they can get pretty involved and pretty different. Just to demonstrate real quick. Jump into another one here. Just to show another map off. Every map, again, different tile set here. So again, we see the snow. This one I really liked because the ending was not just a bunch of stuff coming at you. I won't spoil it because I thought it was pretty neat and well done. Most of them, the ending is just you getting swarmed. This one had a caveat to that, as does the final level as well, which I thought was very well done. So even within just the couple maps they have, there's enough variety and stuff to keep it interesting. So, but yeah. This is Thronefall. I think this is excellent. Again, maybe a little too difficult. Maybe you need a few more options for microing to make it a little more like an RTS, but I see what they're going for and I think it works for it. Worth checking out if you are interested in an RTS game like this, kind of, seeing how it works, how it grows, because they're going to be adding more stuff. It's in early access right now. Still going to be adding more content and things over time. But even in the state it's in, I think it has enough to keep you busy and satisfied. It only takes a couple hours, again, to get through all of these stages the first time, so you can see everything, and then you can just high score hunt, or do the endless mode to really go for it. Test your might on some of these harder stages. I enjoyed this, so I hope you did too. This was a quick look at Thronefall, and until next time, have a good one.